your spirit. It's time to talk about proper exercise, stress relief, eating well, and supplementation to help. Get ready to take charge of your health because your health is your wealth and the wealth of those who care about and love you. It's time for Let's Talk Nutrition with Dr. Michael Garko. Welcome to the show.
And Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for tuning in to LTN today. Hope you're having a good day, wherever and however you may be listening or watching the show, and whatever you may be doing. And hopefully, some of the things that you're doing is wearing your mask, washing your hands thoroughly and frequently, keeping your hands away if possible. I know we're habituated to do it from your face, and social physical distancing. Very important. Part of my journalistic responsibilities in producing and hosting this show is to, like, I'm not a reporter. I wasn't formally trained as a reporter, uh, but there's a journalistic dimension to this broadcast. And so I'm always looking for sources, and people will contact me and give me information, and I can't reveal the source. And this is, and you have to be careful not to give any hint about the source. I won't do it in this block. I'll do it in the next block, most likely. I'm going to share with you something I learned yesterday. Mm. And again, I'm going to have to just be so careful how I report this because I cannot even give any idea or hint as to who the source is. It deals with COVID-19 and being infected and what can happen. So we'll get into that. There is a story that's just blowing up the internet and cable news and broadcast. And this is this business about oleander. Oleander. Yes. Apparently, someone, we all know who the someone is, Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, had suggested to the President of the United States that oleander would be a therapy against the coronavirus. I'm going to talk about that. It turns out that an important part of my training and education in clinical nutrition focus, focuses on botanical medicine. Can't make it up. Never did I think that I would be talking about botanical medicine in this way that I'll talk about it today. We'll get into that. And there are, as always, trends occurring with the virus and whatnot. I'll get into that. I will spend some time today, I don't know how much, we'll see how it unfolds, on botanical medicine. What exactly is that anyway? Right? And it is a long-standing tradition. There's a lot of confusion that surrounds it, a lot of misrepresentation, and a lot of misuse. And I underscore misuse of botanicals. We have become accustomed in this country to having the privilege of walking into a health store and buying dietary supplements. You can't do that in many other countries just like that. In Germany, the German government has strict regulations even about how to grow the raw materials. Herbs, for example, they monitor the soil, the farms, the soil. I mean, I've talked with herbalists, and boy, that German commission, they are tough because in Germany and other countries, European countries, and Middle Eastern countries, for example, and even on the African continent, countries on the African continent, the use of botanical herbs or botanicals have been around for centuries, and these are very powerful. And you just can't go out and see a nice shrub, some herbal plant or bush or tree or whatever, and start picking and eating it. It could kill you depending on the plant and the herb derived from it, right? You got to be careful. This is chemistry, man. And the last thing you want to do is harm yourself. And I feel big responsibility today to tell you about oleander. While it is a beautiful plant, take a look at it. Maybe Reggie can find a image or two of it. It is absolutely gorgeous. But like many things in life, things are not what they seem. And this is a classic example of that. While beautiful, it is toxic. We'll talk. It's just every day, there is, I never have to worry about material for the show, ever. And with this coronavirus and the COVID-19 epidemic in our country and pandemic across the world, I could do every day on it, but I don't because it would become too tedious. But this is a moment where, and I am as sure as I'm sitting here, if I have a little bit of understanding, even a thimbleful of knowledge about human nature, there might be somebody out there, even as I'm speaking to you, who's trying to track down some oleander to take it. And I hope that's not the case. I pray. There it is. Look at that. Now, that is about as beautiful, if you're watching the show, as it comes. Look at that. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shrub. Beautiful. Absolutely
Never seen them
gorgeous.
before, and there are also white ones. I didn't know that either.
I didn't know. I
Yeah,
always
there are
thought
white
that
ones.
they were that beautiful, whatever color that is. I don't even know how to describe it.
I'll find a picture of the white ones and put it up.
This is this can be a very dangerous plant. And I always invite you to join the conversation. I love speaking with you. I love hearing about what you're thinking, you're feeling, you're doing, your concerns, your fears. I love hearing about your courage. And that's why we come to work every day. Katie is sitting there. I can see her at her board. And she can tell you, oh, look at that. That's just beautiful. I wish I had some of those in my yard. I mean, they would make a beautiful aesthetic appearance. And Katie's going to tell you how to connect with. Oh, let's see. We only got 40 seconds, so I better not. I don't want her. I know she can talk fast, but I don't want her to have to do that. we come back. Katie's going to tell you how to connect with the show. I'll go finish making my espresso, and we'll get down to this. We'll learn a little thing or two maybe today about botanical medicine and herbs. I'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. It's me, your immune system. I'm always hard at work defending you against the many disease-causing viruses and bacteria that you are exposed to every day. But sometimes I need help to defeat the bad bugs. Luckily, our friends at Kyolic have come to the rescue. Kyolic has two super immune-enhancing supplements, Kyolic Immune Formula 103 and Kyo Green Harvest Blend Immune Defense. Kyo Green Harvest Blend is a power-packed blend of organic and naturally sourced grasses, ancient grains, fruits, veggies, herbal extracts, and spirulina in a fast-dissolving drink mix for a quick and easy way to support immunity. Kyolic Immune Formula 103 combines immune-boosting nutrients with aged garlic extract. Aged garlic extract has been clinically shown to support a healthy immune response and reduce both the duration and severity of cold and flu symptoms. Help me protect you with Kyolic supplements and nutritional drink mixes to fortify your immune health today. Available at fine natural health retailers.
Celsius is a fitness drink which is clinically proven to function. How? As a thermogenic, Celsius proprietary MetaPlus blend accelerates metabolism, increasing your body's ability to burn fat and calories. There are only two ways a body burns fat: through increased heart rate and our increased body temperature, thermogenesis. Drinking Celsius and then going into motion is double dipping. You're accelerating the burn and the results are even faster. Celsius is your ultimate fitness partner. No high fructose corn syrup, no aspartame, no preservatives, no artificial colors or flavors. 100% of 7 essential vitamins. Proven in 6 published university studies. How does it work? Celsius proprietary MetaPlus formula, including green tea with EGCS, ginger, and guarana seed, turns on thermogenesis, a process that boosts your body's metabolic rate. Drinking Celsius prior to fitness activities is proven to energize, accelerate metabolism, burn body fat and calories. Invest in yourself. Drink Celsius. Look for us at www.celsius.com.
This is Dr. Michael. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by CV Sciences, from seed to shelf. New chapter, the benefit of nature's wisdom. Jarrow Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Form Essentials, makers of the sleep aid Solace. Yerba Prima, pioneers in internal cleansing. Strauss Herbs, everything our bodies need is provided by nature. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garko.
And welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. And here's Katie to tell you how to make contact with the show so that we can connect.
You can give us a call at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-TALK. You can also email Dr. Garko personally. His email is drgarko@letstalknutrition. Sorry, I have the hiccups. letstalknutrition.com. And you can also go to letstalknutrition.com and listen to the show back. You can watch the show live on Facebook and YouTube, and you can watch the show playback there as well. And you can listen wherever you listen to your podcast.
You got the hiccups, Katie?
I do. I got to go get some water.
You have anything sweet there? Any honey or some sugar or something?
Not handy, but I'm going to go to the kitchen in a few minutes and try to find
Yeah, if
something.
you take a little bit of sugar, something, and put it on the back of your tongue or your throat, back of your tongue. As I've always told you, that works, right?
It does.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You don't need to talk. It's okay. Oh, man. Oh, geez. Yeah, it's always one thing or another. So today, no guest today. Of course, you're always the guest, and you can, all that information that Katie shared with you is uh, there for you to take advantage of and to contact the show and share your ideas. As I said, your thoughts, your feelings, what you're doing, your behavior, what you're concerned about. Um, I've been getting a lot of calls off air lately, and I have a story. Let me do that now. Talk a little bit about this. And again, I have to watch how I report this. So yesterday, I had the occasion to talk with someone, and this particular person had been infected with the coronavirus. Mm. And not only that, it it also turns out that the fellow's wife also got infected, and in the reporting on this over these many months now, uh, there's been stories about people getting infected and having antibodies. And with influenza, for example, you get infected and you then create, your body will create the antibodies to recognize that virus if it invades your body again. And typically, what it serves as a form of protection, and we build up what's called in the population herd immunity. And the herd, which will be large, will protect the rest of the population from getting infected, right? Those who have not had a vaccine or who have not been infected. And that's a good thing, right? So, one of the stories that has been trending over these many months, is it possible that a person can be infected twice? Well, you say, well, wait a minute. You just said if you get infected, you build up uh, an immunity to it. And so the development of immunity to a pathogen through natural infection is a multi step process. It takes about 1 to 2 weeks. And your body will respond to a viral infection immediately with a non-specific innate response, which implicates macrophages, neutrophils, dendritic cells. These are the cells part of your immune system to slow the progression, evolution of the virus, and can even prevent it from causing symptoms. I'll stop right there for a second. In my conversation with this individual, I was told that he had some symptoms, not very um, overwhelming or difficult, lasted about a day or so. And his wife was asymptomatic. Okay? Asymptomatic. So this non-specific response is followed then by what we call an adaptive response, adaptive immunity, where your body will make the antibodies that specifically know how to bind to the virus and keep it in check. The antibodies are called, they're proteins, and they have a name. Immune, globulins. Globulins are proteins, immune-related proteins, immunoglobulins. This is called cellular immunity or adaptive immunity. So this combined adaptive response may clear the virus from your body, has that ability. And if the response is strong enough, may even prevent it from progressing into a severe illness or reinfection by the same virus, right? This process is often measured by the presence of antibodies in the blood. Now, back to my source. The source told me that he had developed antibodies, but there was an interesting twist and turn, and I'll tell you that when we come back. This is Dr. Michael Garko from Let's Talk Nutrition. If there were ever a time to take charge of your health, now's that time, given the U.S. coronavirus epidemic. Earth's Creation scientifically tested Curculife curcumin and its family of products can help you do just that. If you have an inflammation-generating condition, such as obesity, heart disease, or diabetes, you are at a greater risk to be infected by the coronavirus. Earth's Creation Curculife curcumin supplement is a patented turmeric formulation with extensive clinical trials. It allows more curcumin to get into your cells to fight inflammation, a hallmark of viral infections. Curculife Plus curcumin is in many of Earth's Creation family of products. Go to inflammationusa.com and protect yourself against the coronavirus. For a limited time, buy any product at inflammationusa.com and get the second bottle at 50% off. Act now. Go to inflammationusa.com.
1250 WHA.
This is Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, host.
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by Jarrow Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Strauss Herbs, everything our bodies need is provided by nature. Kyolic, aging makes the finest garlic truly odorless. Celsius, live fit. Irwin Naturals, premium vitamins and supplements. 25 years of gold standard supplements. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garko.
Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Reporting on a story from a source that I cannot disclose, not even give a hint as to who it would be, shared with me that he and his wife were infected, had been infected with the coronavirus. He presented with a few symptoms, lasted a day or two. She presented as being asymptomatic, no symptoms. Well, as I told you, and I was trying to explain in simple terms, that once infected, you then develop what are called antibodies, these immunoglobulins that will, the body it will also makes T cells that recognize and eliminate other cells infected with the virus, too. This is called cellular immunity. This combined adaptive immune, as I said, response can clear the virus from the body, and if the response is strong enough, may prevent its progression to severe illness or reinfection, as I reported, by the same virus. Well, this individual was infected, symptoms not severe, couple of days. Got tested, and he had antibodies. So, like a good person that the individual is, he decided to donate some plasma that will contain the antibodies. And he did. And he went a couple of times. And I'll tell you more about that in a moment, the plasma business and donating. So he did. Third time, I believe, he went to donate. They tested him. And guess what? No antibodies. Gone. Now, this has been reported, and we talk about people being reinfected, and this has happened. Physicians and nurses who are on the front lines, you know, get infected. They go through the period of isolation and then go back to work, assuming they have the antibodies to protect them. And maybe they get tested, maybe they don't, but then get reinfected. And not only medical personnel, but everyday people as well get reinfected. So you have here now a case, and this is a sample of one. Now, remember that. It's not a study, this is anecdotal. Person infected, has the antibodies, donates plasma containing the antibodies, goes in one day to donate again, and they say, you don't have any antibodies. Typically, the protection afforded a person once infected with the virus can be maybe as far as up to 2 years. It just depends on the virus and the person and whatnot. And that has been the case with influenza, H1N1. That's really, you know, that that appears every year. So yet another twist and turn to this business about this virus. It does not behave the way other viruses behave necessarily. Now, many countries are testing. Uh, Really, this virus is called technically the SARS-CoV-2 virus, and these SARS-CoV-2 or the COVID-19 antibodies at the population level or in specific groups like health workers, close contact of known cases, or within households, countries are testing those people. In the World Health Organization, these are studies to get exactly on what I'm reporting. How long do the antibodies last? Will they afford the kind of protection that we presume it would? And more, as I told you yesterday in my opening block monologue, there are thousands of studies being done as we speak, and these scientists are trying to figure this out. Everybody is pitching in, and the more we know about this virus, the better able we're going to be able to defend against it and to try to get it more managed. And I'm even reluctant to use the term under control. So these twists and turns. And oh, by the way, both this individual and his wife are relatively young. They could be my children, in fact. Um, that's how they're young. And yet another myth. Oh, it doesn't affect young people. Well, now I don't know. I'm not a virologist. My daughter is. Maybe it has something to do with the viral load. How much of the virus you have once you're infected, as to whether your immune protection will persist after you're infected and have the antibodies for a longer period of time than a few weeks or a couple of months. Maybe it has something to do with the viral load. I'm not sure. 877-897-8255. And I always keep my sources confidential. I do not reveal the source. I am not going to tell anybody else, not even a family member, who this person is. Um, I just don't. So if you ever are inclined, you want to share, not revealing who you are, I'm happy to do that and report what you share. in the greatest of journalistic confidence. 877-897-8255. So, all this business about oleander. Okay, we'll see. Botanical medicine, this botanical tradition, been around for hundreds of years. It was the forerunner to many of these botanicals are forerunners to many of the drugs that were created. And we'll get into a little bit of that. I won't get too much into the weeds. Just try to give you a sense and a feel for what we're talking about with botanical herbs and botanical medicine. Let's talk nutrition, coast to coast and globally. Isn't it interesting how the plants keep coming up?
Are you concerned with the change of seasons? Are you looking for a product to support a healthy immune system? Then you must be looking for Oreganol P73, made by North American Herb and Spice, who are a leader in the manufacturing of natural dietary supplements. Oreganol P73 is not your normal oregano. No, Oreganol P73 is made from oregano that grows wild at 10,000 feet above sea level in the mountains of the Mediterranean. That's why it's such a powerful support for your immune system. Try Oreganol P73 today and discover what millions already know during this winter season. To learn more about Oreganol P73, visit your local health food store or our website, oreganol.com. That's oreganol.com. Act now and feel better today with Oreganol P73.
Have you experienced the wisdom of nature with Zyflamend Whole Body from New Chapter? Zyflamend is a 10-herb blend that delivers 3 health benefits. First, Zyflamend is an herbal approach to pain relief, helping to soothe minor pain or soreness. Second, Zyflamend is a joint supplement with time-tested herbs to support joint function and flexibility. And the third benefit, Zyflamend supports the body's healthy inflammation response, something that's essential for maintaining whole body health. Zyflamend is New Chapter's clinically tested blend of 10 remarkable herbs, including pure and potent turmeric, ginger, and green tea. Zyflamend is non-GMO, project verified, gluten-free, and 100% vegetarian. New Chapter is a leader in supplement quality. Every ingredient, every product, every time. Discover Zyflamend, New Chapter's #1 selling multi-herbal. Zyflamend is made with ginger for occasional pain relief after exercise. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The latest trend to hit the store shelves has the whole country buzzing. Cannabidiol, or CBD, might just be the greatest discovery of our generation, and it comes from a plant that is not so new, agricultural hemp. Yes, after 70 years of prohibition and misunderstanding, hemp is back to help you stay healthy and balanced. Growing research is showing that we have a lot to learn from the remarkable hemp plant. Nutrient-rich products like Plus CBD Oil's Total Plant Complex concentrated products provide broad-spectrum nutrition, including fatty acids, plant sterols, cannabinoids, terpenes, and naturally occurring vitamin E. From seed to shelf, all Plus CBD Oil products provide the highest quality hemp-derived CBD products available and are offered in a variety of delivery systems and flavors to suit your needs. Ask your local independent health food store about Plus CBD Oil products by CV Sciences today and learn more about the CBD evolution at pluscbdoil.com. That's pluscbdoil.com.
This is Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com.
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by American Biotech Labs, your daily immune system support. Celsius, Live Fit. CV Sciences, from seed to shelf. New Chapter, the benefit of nature's wisdom. Jarrow Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garko.
Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Going to talk a little bit about botanical medicine, botanicals, and I'll spend some time with that. And it's my how can I put it? My interest in doing that is prompted by a news story that is out there, and you probably heard about it, woke up to it, listened to it, saw it, watched it on the news, whereby the president was told by a couple of people, one of whom was Mike Lindell. That's the guy that has the My Pillow commercials, the My Pillow guy. And then Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson also put the message in the president's ear that oleander could be or the extract, the the experimental botanical extract, oleandrin, could be and should be approved by the FDA either as a dietary supplement or made into or approved as a drug. I don't know Mike Lindell. I guess he makes a nice pillow, but I don't know what his background and training is in medicine or botanicals. But I, for one, would be listening to him. That's for sure. And with all due respect to Secretary Carson, he's a brain surgeon, but there are no tests, there are no studies, nothing, nada, to support the idea that oleander could be used to treat a coronavirus infection. Apparently, during a meeting at the White House, Mike Lindell told Axios, that news agency, that in the meeting, he mentioned this to Trump, President Trump, and the president said, well, the FDA should be approving it, close quote. I mean, I don't know. I know this. Now that that's out there into the world, and I can tell you a little bit, I'll tell you a little bit about the plant, where it grows, and people have access to it. And I'm concerned that some may go out and have access to the plant and start to consume it. You could die. It's a beautiful plant, but it's highly toxic, man. And you never know what's motivating people to do these things, to make these recommendations. Do they have are they involved in some business enterprise with this particular compound? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's motivating people to do this, but this is dangerous for people to hear that message and then go out and help themselves to the plant in some form or fashion, thinking that they're, an herbalist and can concoct, if you will, concoction comes from herbalism, to make some concoction whereby they'll take it and they're going to have some protection against this virus. I will be an astronaut before that happens. So, and there is concern among health experts around the world about this. And so you'll see this trending in the news. And this is what gives, uh, integrative, functional, alternative medicine, herbalism a bad name. Just like with hydroxychloroquine, that couple had some compounds that you can make in their home, and ended up taking it and having a terrible outcome, thinking that they were taking hydroxychloroquine, the drug. So yeah, you have to always consider the source. Uh, there are any number of stories about oleander. Uh, Oleander poisoning is real. It occurs when somebody goes out and eats the flowers or chews the leaves or the stems of the oleander plant. And by the way, the Latin name is Nerium oleander. Now, it has a relative, the yellow oleander, Casabella di Vitia. Do not use it. I encourage you, and I repeat, do not use it to treat, manage, address uh, the virus. You have an exposure to this plant and you overconsume it or take it. You need, and, and you don't feel well, you need to call 911 immediately. But I would encourage you, or your local poison center. And you're thinking, you're just overreacting. Nobody's going to do that. Well, okay. I hope not. The poisonous substances are found in all parts of the oleander plant, in the flowers, in the leaves, in the stems, and in the twigs. There's somebody out there thinking they have a pretty high IQ, figure, well, if I just eat this part of the plant, it'll be okay because the toxic compounds won't be so concentrated here. No, it doesn't work that way. Oleander poisoning can affect a number of your systems. You'll have irregular cardiovascular, you end up with an irregular or slow heartbeat, your blood pressure will drop, and you're going to have a sense of weakness. Ear, nose, and throat and mouth, your vision can become blurred. You'll have vision disturbances, including halos. You'll start to see halos around objects. You'll have gastrointestinal issues, diarrhea, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, stomach ache. Nervous system, you'll be confused. You can die. You can be depressed, disoriented, dizzy, drowsy, headache, fainting, lethargy. Skin, you can develop hives or rash. Doesn't sound like a lot of fun, right? Please don't eat the plant. Come back. We'll talk about, in that next hour, we'll talk about botanical medicine here on LTN Coast to Coast and globally.
Wayne Elliott here to tell you about my experience with Strauss Heart Drops over the past 20 years. The Strauss Heart Drops saved me back then and changed my life forever. It's hard to describe how invigorating it is when you increase your blood flow everywhere. The Heart Drops have proven to dissolve plaque from arteries, veins, and vessels caused from cholesterol that can restrict or block our blood flow, our body's most important function. I was able to avoid open heart surgery, as was my father, and instead cleared our arteries painlessly and without chemical drugs, which, by the way, do not claim to remove any plaque or increase blood flow otherwise. Strauss Heart Drops work, I can assure you. No contraindications with pharma drugs. Strauss Heart Drops are safe, and Strauss guarantees your satisfaction with a money-back guarantee. So you can't go wrong and certainly have nothing to lose. If you've had open heart surgery, angina, diabetes, low energy, cold hands and feet, or grayish-blue skin or lips, Strauss Heart Drops are for you. Available online at powermall.com and straussnaturals.com. I promise you won't be sorry.
This is Dr. Michael Garko from Let's Talk Nutrition. Tired of not having enough energy to exercise and be physically active? Well, OptiNos from Earth's creation can help recharge your body, the energy it needs to live a physically active lifestyle. OptiNos does 3 things to help energize. First, it increases nitric oxide, which means more oxygen and nutrients flowing to your cells. Second, OptiNos helps create ATP, the body's energy currency. Third, OptiNos reduces lactic acid buildup, which causes exercise-associated muscle soreness. So turn on your body's energy switch with OptiNos. Start living a physically active lifestyle. Get OptiNos at ecsportsusa.com. That's ecsportsusa.com. For a limited time, use promo code EC and get $10 off your first order. Promo code EC. The sooner you use OptiNos, the sooner you will feel better about yourself and your body.
LetsTalkNutrition.com. That's LetsTalkNutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com.
Statements made during this broadcast regarding products or the claims made about specific products have not been evaluated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Products and treatments discussed are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Make your physician aware of all nutritional supplements used and immediately notify your physician if you have any health concern or undiagnosed sign or symptom. Let's Talk Nutrition is a health talk show that features scientists, authors, nutrition specialists, personal trainers, holistic healers, and experts in traditional, natural, and integrative medicine. Listen for a chance to win daily prizes and follow Let's Talk Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram at Let's Talk Nutrition or on Twitter at LTN Radio. It's time for some inspiration. Tune in to get fit and healthy. It's time to talk about nutrition. Nutrition for your body, your mind, your spirit. It's time to talk about proper exercise, stress relief, eating well, and supplementation to help. Get ready to take charge of your health because your health is your wealth and the wealth of those who care about and love you. It's time for Let's Talk Nutrition with Dr. Michael Garko. Welcome to the show.
And welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition 2020. Thanks for tuning in today. Hope you're having a good day, wherever and however you may be listening or watching the show, and whatever you may be doing. Going to talk a little bit about herbal medicine or botanical medicine, botanicals today in this hour. Keying off the story about the oleander that I reported on in the first hour. Everything is archived. You can go back and listen or watch what I had to say about that and a cautionary note that I provided. So I'm always interested in hearing from you, and ask Katie to, if she can, I don't know what she's doing there. She's sometimes very busy. If she has a moment, maybe she can tell you how to make contact with the show.
I can do that. My hiccups are gone, so that's a bright side. You can give us a call at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-TALK. You can also send Dr. Garko an email with your questions, concerns, comments. His email is drgarko, Garko, at letstalknutrition.com. And like Dr. Garko mentioned, you can always listen back to our shows. They're archived. The first hour actually is already available to you. Go to letstalknutrition.com, go to the show schedule tab, or wherever you listen to your podcast. And you can also watch the show live on YouTube and Facebook, and we post them there as well. So if you missed it live, you can catch it on playback there as well. So we make it easy for you to listen to the show.
We do. And we go out of our way to do that. I presume I'm still streaming. I can't tell from my screen. Looks like it's frozen, but I don't know.
Oh, no, I still
I
got
never
you.
know.
You're good over here.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
We're in business.
We're in yeah, that's what I like to say. We're in business. Yes, we are. And here's a little update as to what's going on. The U.S. coronavirus death toll is now projected to reach 189,000 by September 5th. This is according to the CDC's ensemble forecast. My goodness. Dr. Anthony Fauci said that COVID-19's long-term effects, especially in young people, and these are his words, are, quote, really troublesome, end quote. That is one of the features of this virus. You just don't get infected and recover. You can get infected, recover, and then have long-term effects. Your lungs, your heart, not good. Several countries in Asia Pacific have entered as what's being by the WHO, they said, quote, a new phase of the pandemic, close quote, in that the virus spread is increasingly driven by younger people. In New Zealand, the prime minister hit back against the president of the United States, calling the country's surge in COVID-19 cases, quote, terrible, end quote. It's terrible. These are some of the goings on in the back and forth across the country and the world. It's just, and it goes on and on. I could spend a lot of time talking about that. So I was listening to Dr. Sanjay Gupta this morning, and to my point earlier in the show on my reporting of a source who had been infected, donating plasma, and then found that he no longer had the antibodies. So you can follow Dr. Gupta was talking about that this morning about the do you have immunity from the coronavirus once you've had it? It's unclear. It's unclear. So when I hear those kinds of terms, unclear, not sure, uncertain, then that's when you really have to take caution. Be careful. So, what is it about this business about herbs and botanicals and botanical medicine and whatnot. So, as I said, an important part of my education and training in clinical nutrition involves botanical medicine. And I want to give attribution to a source that I'm going to use. It's from a book called Rational Phytotherapy. It's by Schultz, Hinsel, Blumenthal, and Tyler. It's a reference guide for physicians and pharmacists. It's the 5th edition. And so I'm giving attribution to the source. I will paraphrase, I will comment on, I will quote without putting quotes around everything. Otherwise, it gets too cumbersome. But I'm giving 100% attribution to Rational Phytotherapy by Schultz et al. So in their account, the authors talk about botanical medicine from a historical perspective, and they talk about how the production of medicines and the pharmacologic treatment of diseases really began with the use of herbs all those many centuries ago. In fact, the word drug used to denote a medicinal preparation is derived from a Dutch word, an old Dutch word, droog, meaning to dry, as plants were, as we know, dried to be used for medicinal or medical purposes or otherwise be used as medicines. So methods of folk healing, these authors write, by those that lived in the Mediterranean region and Asia, found and was reported in a source called Materia Medica. Well, Materia Medica was a reference source written by the Greek physician Pandios Dioscorides. In the 1st century CE. That was a long time ago. So this has been around for thousands of years, right? And prior to the inception or birth or entry of science and then medical science, it was botanical medicine that was used to treat people. But there was a lot, in their own way, they were careful in what they were doing. They weren't going out and picking the leaves, the flowers, the stems, the whatever off the oleander and eating it. They knew better. During the Renaissance, this classical text, the materia was written to make it more in line with humanistic doctrine of the time. The plants named by Dioscorides were identified and illustrated with woodcut and some local. So in Greco-Roman period, that they had an interesting way of talking about how and why people got sick. And they talked about this paradigm that they had was classical humoral pathology, the humors, the 4 bodily humors, blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. This is how they thought back then. And these humors were then associated with elemental principles of antiquity: air, water, earth, and fire. I know today that sounds so primitive, but you know what? It seemed to work for them. Come back, I'll tell you more how this unfolds and where we are today with it.
Feel tired, lethargic, or irritable? Take solace You're one of millions of Americans that has trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. In fact, according to a national survey, 54% of adults have trouble sleeping. So what can you do about it? Take Solace. Solace is an all-natural dietary supplement formulated to support healthy sleep and relaxation. Solace can help you fall asleep and stay asleep naturally. Formulated with all-natural ingredients, Solace is non-addictive and won't leave you feeling groggy in the morning. Take Solace an hour before bed and feel the calming effects of this extensively researched sleep and relaxation aid. For more information on Solace, call toll-free 877-533-7066 or visit TakeSolace.com. That's 877-533-7066 or take SOLUS.com. Look for Solace in your local health and nutrition store. Solace, for a good night's rest naturally.
Did you get enough calcium today? 85% of women over the age of 20 and 50% of men over the age of 30 consume less than the recommended daily intake of calcium. One of the best ways to protect your bones and joints, Bone Up provides Australian hydroxyapatite, the very same form of calcium found in the human body. However, strong bones and joints require more than calcium. Magnesium, zinc, manganese, copper, silicon, vitamin C, vitamin D3, vitamin K, and boron are all beneficial to optimum joint function. Bone Up gives you all of these. Bone Up is the most healthful nutritional regimen for bones and joints. Ask for Bone Up at your local health food store. Or, for more information, go to www.jarrow.com for the best in calcium formulas.
This is Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com.
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by CV Sciences, from seed to shelf. New chapter, the benefit of nature's wisdom. Jarrow Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Form Essentials, makers of the sleep aid Solace. Yerba Prima, pioneers in internal cleansing. Strauss Herbs, everything our bodies need is provided by nature. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garko.
Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Talking a little bit about botanical medicine, the use of botanicals, and the history is intriguing. Now, you know, what I'm sharing with you here, this goes back a couple of thousand years, and you have, especially like during the Renaissance and prior to the Renaissance, in the Greco-Roman period and in classical antiquity. And just it's interesting to see to, to learn how people back then thought about disease and how to treat it. And herbals were based on the humors, the classical humoral, what they call the humoral pathology, which said that health and disease were determined by four bodily humors: blood, phlegm, black bile, yellow bile. Those humors were then associated with the elemental principles of air, water, earth, and fire. Then the elements, those elements could be mixed in varying ratios and proportions, they theorized, to produce the qualities of cold, moist, dry, or warm. And those properties were then associated with various proportions of the four bodily humors. It's a little complicated, but even with that simple system, that paradigm, it was a little complicated. So if a person had a particular disease and they classified it as moist, warm, or dry, it was treated by an herb that had the opposite property. And so then they categorized the plant medicines by stating their property and grading their potency on a 4-point scale. It was either imperceptible, perceptible, powerful, or very powerful. So that's how they thought about these things back then. And there's a lot more history here. But fast forwarding, right prior to the 1800s, when medicine entered the scientific stage, traditional herbal medicine was the really, as it's written in the text that I referred to earlier, the unquestioned foundation for all standard textbooks on pharmacology. That's amazing. It was not until the advent of modern chemistry and the development of modern pharmacotherapy and medical science that phytotherapy was then demoted and relegated to uh, and classified as alternative modality. Now, herbalists take offense to that, and I understand why. They don't think they don't see anything alternative about it. They see herbalists usually will talk about herbs as a can be a very primary way and was the primary way by which people were treated for diseases and various conditions of the body. So that's kind of interesting. And fast forwarding even further and faster, now you can walk into a store, a health store, and buy herbal supplements. That's where it starts to get a little dicey. Also, you would think that, oh, okay, it's in a store, it's in a bottle, or whatever, and everything just should just be fine. Maybe not so much, because it depends on the raw materials that they used to make that herbal supplement. Were the raw materials of high quality? Were those raw materials contaminated with toxins? Did they check for that? And also, how did they process those raw materials? Did they use a process or processes that destroyed the constituent chemical makeup of those raw materials? So these are things to consider. So herbal products, botanical products, or what they're sometimes called phytomedicines, are made from plants or botanicals, and they're used to maintain health or to treat disease. Some, even modern physicians who are very well educated and just besides medical school, will understand how to use herbs. Maybe you have such a physician. Naturopathic physicians often rely on herbal therapy in the treatment of patients. So you have a large number of these herbal supplements are produced specifically for internal use, right? And you have a large number of prescription drugs, over-the-counter medications that originate from plant derivatives. Aspirin, simple aspirin. Where was it? What was the genesis of aspirin? White willow bark. I can give you other examples too. Now, they differ from herbal supplements, these prescription drugs, in that they use the FDA-regulated purified ingredients. However, the FDA does not regulate the manufacture of herbal supplements. So, again, you have to exercise some caution. Now, we have all kinds of herbal supplements out there. You're familiar with them. Saw palmetto extract for men and their prostate health. Aged garlic extract I talk about on show. Ginkgo biloba, echinacea, black cohosh, ginseng, and many more.
The latest trend to hit the store shelves has the whole country buzzing. Cannabidiol, or CBD, might just be the greatest discovery of our generation, and it comes from a plant that is not so new, agricultural hemp. Yes, after 70 years of prohibition and misunderstanding, hemp is back to help you stay healthy and balanced. Growing research is showing that we have a lot to learn from the remarkable hemp plant. Nutrient-rich products like Plus CBD Oil's Total Plant Complex concentrated products provide broad-spectrum nutrition, including fatty acids, plant sterols, cannabinoids, terpenes, and naturally occurring vitamin E. From seed to shelf, all Plus CBD Oil products provide the highest quality hemp-derived CBD products available and are offered in a variety of delivery systems and flavors to suit your needs. Ask your local independent health food store about Plus CBD Oil products by CV Sciences today and learn more about the CBD evolution at pluscbdoil.com. That's pluscbdoil.com.
This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com.
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by Jarrow Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Strauss Herbs, everything our bodies need is provided by nature. Kyolic, aging makes the finest garlic truly odorless. Celsius, live fit. Irwin Naturals, premium vitamins and supplements. 25 years of gold standard supplements. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garko.
Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. My goodness, there's so much to learn about nutrition and its various dimensions. And one important dimension and part, discipline within the arena of nutrition is this notion of botanicals and botanical medicine. Using that term botanical, botanical is a plant or can be a part of a plant. And the plant or the parts are recognized and valued for what are considered medicinal or therapeutic properties, sometimes even their flavor and or their scent, like aromatherapy. Herbs, this is important, are a subset of botanicals. Products made from botanicals, plants or plant parts, are used typically, as I've been suggesting to you, to improve the health of people and can be called herbal products. They masquerade under different names. Phytomedicines, herbal products, plant drugs. They use different phrases. I don't like the notion of plant drugs. Medicinal herbs, I'm comfortable with that. Phytomedicines, okay. Plant drugs, I guess, but I wouldn't use that term or phrase. In naming botanicals, botanists will use a Latin name that has a genus and then a species of the plant. That can get a little tedious. Like you have the botanical black cohosh. I can't even pronounce. It's Actia resmosa, where the L stands for Linnaeus, and I mean it goes. Yeah, it gets tedious. Now you have in the government the Office of Dietary Supplements, ODS, and you can go to their website and they can provide you a lot of information about supplements and herbs and botanicals and whatnot. Now, can botanicals be dietary supplements? So, in order for something to be a dietary supplement, you have to follow what's called the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, the SHA. And I won't get into all of that. But nevertheless, they can be if they follow the SHA guidelines. Botanicals are sold, as you know, when you go into a health store. They can be fresh, they can be dried product, they can be liquid, or they can be solid extracts, tablets, capsules, powders, tea bags. I'm a big fan of teas. I love using teas and even other forms. And with extracts, I could get into the types of extracts. You have dried extracts and you have these liquid extracts. So you can see then that we have access to these compounds then. Now, as I said, in other countries, if you were to travel to Germany, for example, you just can't walk in willy-nilly and buy this and that like we do here. Oh, no. What we would consider a supplement here might be considered a pharmaceutical or a drug in Germany, and you would need a prescription. So we have a great privilege in this country of having access to these dietary supplements. Common preparations include teas, decoctions, tinctures, and extracts. You know, decoctions. A tea is also known as an infusion, and it's made by adding boiling water. I do it every day, and so do you. To fresh or dried botanicals, and then steeping them. I do it every single day. Then you consume the tea either hot or cold. I favor that particular preparation. It's convenient, it's enjoyable, easy. You don't have to, swallow pills and whatnot. You get pill fatigue. Some roots, bark, and berries require more forceful treatment to extract the ingredients. The chemicals are locked within the cells. And so you have the herbalists and the botanists have to figure out how do you extract, how do you get those chemicals out of there? When you take the raw material and you put it in boiling water, it opens up those cells and it releases those chemicals. That's called infusion. And some of these roots and barks and berries, they're tough, and they are simmered in boiling water for longer periods than teas are, making what's called a decoction, which can also be consumed hot or cold. A tincture is something different. It's made by soaking a botanical in some sort of solvent or solution of alcohol and water. Tinctures are sold as liquids and are used for concentrating and preserving a botanical. They are made in varying degrees of strength and are used with extract ratios of the weight of the dried botanical to the volume or weight of the finished product. That gets a little complicated, and we'll let that aside for a moment. An extract now is made by soaking in the botanical in a liquid that removes specific types of chemicals. The liquid can then be used as is, or it can be evaporated to make a dry extract that you will find in your capsules and in your tablets. Now, that's a very quick and dirty way of talking to you about how these preparations of teas, decoctions, and tinctures and extracts are used and made. I favor the use of botanicals. I think that it served humankind, botanicals served humankind for thousands of years. And you can't dismiss their potency, efficacy, and medicinal properties. When you look at the long period of time in which they were used, and even to this day, that's a big hint that they can be very effective. I'll be back.
Wayne Elliott here to tell you about my experience with Strauss Heart Drops over the past 20 years. The Strauss Heart Drops saved me back then and changed my life forever. It's hard to describe how invigorating it is when you increase your blood flow everywhere. The Heart Drops have proven to dissolve plaque from arteries, veins, and vessels caused from cholesterol that can restrict or block our blood flow, our body's most important function. I was able to avoid open heart surgery, as was my father, and instead cleared our arteries painlessly and without chemical drugs, which, by the way, do not claim to remove any plaque or increase blood flow otherwise. Strauss Heart Drops work, I can assure you. No contraindications with pharma drugs. Strauss Heart Drops are safe, and Strauss guarantees your satisfaction with a money-back guarantee. So you can't go wrong and certainly have nothing to lose. If you've had open heart surgery, angina, diabetes, low energy, cold hands and feet, or grayish-blue skin or lips, Strauss Heart Drops are for you. Available online at powermall.com and straussnatural.com. I promise you won't be sorry.
The ever-increasing stress and toxicity we are exposed to from our environment, diets, and lifestyles make internal cleansing a necessary part of a good health regimen. Founded in 1980, Yerba Prima was the first company to launch a whole-body internal cleansing kit. Since that time, they have continued to develop and manufacture a complete range of all-natural, high-quality fiber and internal cleansing products. By using all-natural psyllium fiber and no harmful stimulant laxatives, all Yerba Prima fiber and internal cleansing products can be used over a long period of time to ensure optimal health and regularity. With nearly 30 years dedicated to all-natural cleansing products, it's easy to see why Yerba Prima is a leader in the fiber and cleansing products category. Learn more at yerbaprima.com, YERBAPRIMA.com, or visit your local health retailer. Yerba Prima, pioneer in internal cleansing products. Did you get enough calcium today? 85% of women over the age of 20 and 50% of men over the age of 30 consume less than the recommended daily intake of calcium. One of the best ways to protect your bones and joints, Bone Up provides Australian hydroxyapatite, the very same form of calcium found in the human body. However, strong bones and joints require more than calcium. Magnesium, zinc, manganese, copper, silicon, vitamin C, vitamin D3, vitamin K, and boron are all beneficial to optimum joint function. Bone Up gives you all of these. Bone Up is the most healthful nutritional regimen for bones and joints. Ask for Bone Up at your local health food store. Or, for more information, go to www.jarrow.com for the best in calcium formulas.
What is inflammation?
.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by American Biotech Labs, your daily immune system support. Celsius, Live Fit. CV Sciences, from seed to shelf. New Chapter, the benefit of nature's wisdom. Jarro Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garko.
So I spent a few moments with you, giving you a little background on botanicals, plants or parts of plants, and used as medicines, if you will, and the history and the different forms and how you create these products, whether it be a decoction, a tincture, or whatever it might be. And along the way, I told you about that long ago, medicines of folk healing were practiced by people that lived in the Mediterranean area and Asia. And they referred to a source that was called De Materia Medica. Here's the question for today, and I gave the answer. Who wrote that manual or that reference source, De Materia Medica? Was it Dioscorides, Aristotle, or Plato? Who wrote? It sounds like some humanism class in the arts, science. I don't know, but nevertheless, who wrote the De Materia Medica? Was it Dioscorides, Aristotle, or Plato? Here's the number to call to win.
877-897-8255. That's 877-897-TALK.
All right. So you're gonna take the quiz, Katie. You ready to take the quiz on botanicals and all that I talked about today? You ready for that quiz?
I'm never ready for any quiz, but I will give it my best shot as I do every other quiz.
Just
No, that it is good to know though, because I didn't know that. Like, so much of what you just said about botanicals, I wouldn't have thought anything of. I didn't know much on the topic, and I am willing to admit that I know very little about botanicals.
Yeah, it's not off. It doesn't roll off the tip of everybody's tongue unless you're in some program like I'm in clinical nutrition at a very good school where they teach you these things. It's just yeah, it's really something. So much to learn, so little time. But you see, the modern drugs, Katie, find their genesis, their beginning with botanicals, with the plants and the parts of plants, right? I mean, it's truly fascinating. Digitalis, opium poppy, belladonna, all of these plant botanicals led to drugs. You buy the drug Digitalis. Of course, we all know about the opium poppy, and we all know about.
I just recently learned about the correlation between opioids and poppy. Like I didn't really know that. I knew they correlated somehow, but I recently just learned about the whole backstory to that.
Yeah, so originally they were derived from plants, and then with modern science and chemistry, scientists were able to figure out and then replicate, the chemical nature of the plant synthetically. They were able to do that
I actually
and
went and
create.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say I did research on this because I saw an article. Again, don't know how true it is. I don't even remember the source, but it said someone had failed a drug test that they were taking for work because of them eating poppy seeds. And I was like, what does one have to do with the other? So I went down like a rabbit hole and did a bunch of research on that because I just didn't know. I was like, why would that have anything to do with it? And it was very interesting to read all about it. And you don't realize how much modern medicine came from things like that.
100%. And even to this day, who came to my mind? This is before you came on to the show. We had a guest. He's an herbalist. His name is Roy Upton. If I have his number, I'm going to call him today and see if I can get him booked onto the show. And he worked for Source Naturals. They were a sponsor, so they had him on representing them. But Roy, I learned a lot from him, and he turned out to be a good colleague and friend. I have a lot of respect for him. He studied for decades, and it's good. I bring him on, but your point's well taken. People think modern medicine. What does that modern? Well, modern medicine has a lot to do with the past, and it comes from this tradition of botanicals, Katie, and that's where we get these drugs from. It's truly remarkable, and I share. I know that I don't. Sometimes I take a risk in talking about these kinds of things. I don't know how the audience will respond to that because it takes a little bit of time to weave that narrative, and it sounds a little like school, a little bit, and something that might turn some people off. But I think that people are curious. Where do we get these ideas from? How do we? When you walk into a health store, you see all these thousands of products, and hundreds of different companies. You're thinking, where did this stuff come from? And I've always said, and I'll continue to say, dietary supplementation is serious business. And you got to know what you're doing. You just don't walk in and buy a bottle of this and that. The more you know, the better choices you'll make. And it always gets down to the raw materials. Where did they get them from? Did they test them? Were they toxic? And did they destroy the chemical makeup of those raw materials by the way they manufactured or prepared the product? And then you end up with a piece of what I call junk supplements. So that's part of educating. And not all these companies are equal in how they do this. Did we have any takers on the question? I don't know. That may be a little hard.
We did not.
I know.
My hiccups just came back.
Who wrote that original that source for botanicals? Dioscorides, Aristotle, or Plato? He wasn't a philosopher. There's a hint. He was a physician. Speed dial, even if as we go off the air. By the way, the first part of that person's name has something to do like with God. Dios. There you go. There's the hint. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you learned something. I always learn something. Your health is your wealth, and your health is the wealth of those that care